And here we are.
Like walking in the rain and the snow, and there's nowhere
to go. And you're feeling like a part of you is dying.
And you're looking for the answer in her eyes. You
She
think
said
you
think you're gonna break up.
And she says
she wants to make up.
Suki, don't my teeth look nice?
Did you get them whitened?
No, I learned the Invisaligns. I've been wearing those
Invisaligns?
Not right this minute, no, Soup, but I've been wearing them since like the spring, and they're really like putting everything together. You know what I mean? It's really good.
What made you want to do that at your age?
At my advanced age?
At your advanced age.
You know what? I had like one that was turned in a little bit, and I think when I'm done, I'm gonna get them all
on the bottom,
like kind of bonded and evened out. I mean, I know I have a beautiful smile. I know.
You do.
But I'm just trying to, I want to work it out.
You're so beautiful.
Yeah,
You're so beautiful to me.
Can't you see? Now, Sook, listen, we have, while everybody loads up, and Philly Kid is going to load up and share it up, and everybody starts to join in. The Manhattan Transfer, Suki, listen, we're talking 10 Grammy Awards here over the course of 50 years. They're out celebrating the 50th year of the group's inception. And I mean, to be doing it, is it 12 Grammys, Cheryl? How many Grammys? 10, right? 10. So we got 10 Grammys.
Scott?
Sook, can you hear me?
Scotty.
Oh, no. Sook?
Oh, my God. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, so why were you saying hello?
You froze.
Oh, I froze on your end?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Good thing we didn't really start the show yet.
Okay.
But anyway, listen, Cheryl Benteen and Tris Curlis are here. 2 of the 4 current members of the Manhattan Transfer. Cheryl has been with the group throughout those 10 Grammy Awards, I believe, since 1978.
10?
10 Grammys. They've been nominated for a lot more than that.
Wow.
And Trist has been around for several years. He took over. He joined the group actually when Tim Hauser passed away. Tim is the founder of the group. So much history with him. We got a lot to talk about. They got new music out. Sook, we were showing our billboard, right? They have the same billboard that we have in the same spot. Suki, our billboard right up here over in Times Square. Right in the heart of New York City.
I know. Is that crazy? And there comes Manhattan Transfer, too.
Right. So Manhattan Transfer, those folks, again, because they're out doing their 50th anniversary.
50th anniversary tour. Yep.
I got to show you. Hold on. Here, look, they're on the same billboard.
Looking
in
very
Times
sharp.
Square. Yeah. So, everybody's checking us out there. But we're going to talk about that. There's all 4 members of the group right now. And we got a great show. Sook, we got some good shows coming up. Brandy Roderick is coming on next week.
Oh, can you tell about the big one that you just booked?
Brandy, we just got Dane Cook, who's coming on, comedian extraordinaire. Dane Cook.
That's big.
He's got a new special out. Les Garland is coming on. He one of the original CEOs at MTV. And we got a lot of stuff happening, Sue. But anyway, let's get going. You want to just start it up?
Yes, let's start it up. I'm ready to do it.
All right, the official, everybody's logged in. I see all of our folks have been in for a while. Big Manhattan Transfer fans. Let's get the show started. We're coming back on the other side, everybody.
The Suki and Scott Show.
This is one of the funnest shows I've ever done.
Lady, when you're with me, I'm smiling.
It's musical. It's magical.
Suki and Scott, the 7 of Hearts. Exactly.
This is a sexy show.
Someone's getting some action.
Now, these larger-than-life personalities are on an exciting new journey as they bring you the Suki and Scott Show.
You guys nailed it. You're great. You ask great questions. You listen.
I answered you because I have respect for you guys, and it was a question respectfully put.
The Suki and Scott Show is your one-stop destination for humor.
You like De Niro and Cape Fear. Counselor!
Entertainment.
Jesse's girl!
Wonderful.
Can you paint with all the colors of the wind?
And optimism.
You guys have such amazing energy.
Ultraviolet light gets in there and it just
fights. It just fights the kung flu. Is that right? Okay.
Let's laugh together.
I love him.
The Suki and Scott Show.
That's the best intro for a show I maybe have ever seen.
Really?
Your intro is fantastic.
Yes, Suki. Listen, Suk, the Manhattan Transfer coming up. Two of the folks from the group, Cheryl Bentine, Tris Curlis, are coming on in just a second. We got so much to talk about with them. I'm going to sing a little boy from New York City. Ooh, ooh, cool. Not only that, Suk, when we have groups on like the Manhattan Transfer who have so many great songs, and people do really crappy covers of those songs, and they're all over YouTube.
Are we gonna do all that?
I picked out 3
really crappy ones.
Terrible. Not really crappy. We're gonna let Cheryl and Tris judge. I like to let them. I don't give my opinion. I just play them. I'm just the guy who quarterbacks for everybody. We're gonna let them see. I picked out 3, maybe 4 of my favorites. One of them's of just a violin.
That's
boy
incredible.
from New York City, and it's really, really cool.
But how incredible is it to celebrate 50? Let's just have a moment of the body of work that's there.
Yeah.
The fans all around the world. And this was a group that was formed back in 1972.
Yeah.
I mean, like, think about think about New York City. You and I are both New Yorkers. Think about New York 1972. I can't. I was a year old, but, I'm imagining it's kind of like what it is now. Not so pretty. No, I'm just kidding.
And you know what's amazing, Suka, and we'll talk with them about it. I know
Excuse me.
Trist is kind of, he came on a little later on in life, but I mean, everybody, when you read about the history of the Manhattan Transfer, and you got, Tim Hauser and the way he envisioned, this quartet, and he was driving a cab in New York City.
That's amazing.
And two of the other people in the group just happened to come into the cab.
I know.
And they ended up forming the group, and that's
called kismet.
Yeah. That's just, that's called, willing your way into, the world. And it's just the story's fantastic. They have a new album out right now. It's called 50. The Manhattan Transfer.
Very appropriate. Look at how good they look. I love that cover.
Yeah,
very elegant.
They're a good-looking bunch, and I mean, there's so many great pictures of them online. The current group right here, Alan Paul is there as well, and Janice Siegel, and it's just it's such a great story, and I can't wait to start talking to them. And this album, Vocalese, this was the one that
changed everything.
They got so many Grammy nominations.
Changed
I think
everything.
They're second now only to Thriller. Remember, Thriller had all the Grammy nominations?
Wow.
So Vocalese is second to that album. And I don't know if people even know that.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so it's really, really cool. And I'm excited. We're going to talk to them in just a second. But Suk, listen, and we never talk about any bad things that are going on because we're in our own cocoon, right? I mean, there's a hurricane belting Florida right now.
I was going to say, we're all in a really good place right now. To our friends and folks who love and have loved us in the beautiful state of Florida. Our hearts are with you. I mean, some of these pictures are horrific.
Yes, but leave it to me to pull out the one funny thing I found.
Are you talking about those 2 dodo heads that Fort Myers that jumped in the water?
Suk, I found, how everybody goes out with the network affiliates and everybody's covering the storm.
All the
reporters. No, everybody's covering the storm, the reporters.
Okay.
So everybody has to protect their equipment because if you get the microphones wet, obviously you're not going to be able to report. The cameras are all covered. One young lady with a very, very interesting way of covering her microphone, Suki, with an actual condom.
No.
Yeah, she actually happened to have a condom in her pocket, and that is a condom on the microphone to and everybody was, of course, commenting online.
She's fully protected.
And she was like, hey.
Are you sure it's a condom?
Oh, Suk, look at the top. Look at the top, Suk. You need me to make that bigger for you?
I didn't even notice it. That's how silly I am. That's how many years it's been since I've used a condom.
Yeah, right. But yeah, no, she said that's what it was. And she said, listen, I've got to do whatever I have to do to keep my equipment safe.
God bless her.
And stop her from getting pregnant.
She's like, you know what? I got to wrap that rascal. I got to wrap it up. I got to keep it tight and keep going.
So
I saw these 2 dodo birds in Fort Myers jump into the water. I'm like, is that for real? Like, no, this is historical in proportions, but okay. But anyway, I just have to say that hopefully, they're able to weather out the storm. It's a big 48 hours for them. It's not only tonight, it's also tomorrow, the storm surge tomorrow. And then, of course, Friday, you'll probably late Friday, you'll probably get a good look at the damage, and hopefully it's not as much as a disaster as they're thinking about it. But what a turn this hurricane took into Fort Myers.
Crazy. Yeah, wow. It's
Fort Myers hasn't seen anything since 1912 or something like that. It's never
150 mile an hour winds.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But anyway, so listen, back to the good stuff. The Manhattan Transfer is here. They've got a lot of great music out. They've let me give you a little bit. They just finished up a cover in studio of So in Love, and here's a little bit, and we bring him in on the other side.
So in love are we two that we don't know what to do. So in love in the world of our own, you and I, as we stroll by the sea together, under stars twinkling high above. So in love are we two, no one else but me and you. So in love, so much in love, you and I. So in love, so much in love, you and I.
We stroll along together.
We
they are,
fail
ladies
in
and
comparison, but welcome to the show.
Thank you, thank you,
Yay.
thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Cheryl and Tris, guys, thanks for coming on. Just an honor to have you on. I mean, God, we've had so many amazing groups and legendary groups on this show. And Suki and I always say it's so cool to have the people who are part of the soundtrack to our childhoods. And it's just so great to have you guys on. Thanks for coming up tonight.
You bet. Thank you.
Our pleasure.
Yeah,
it's too bad. It's too bad we couldn't get Cheryl. Too bad we couldn't get on a show where people, have fun, and take themselves a little less seriously.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Why do they stick us with these boring people?
Listen, speaking of, and we're gonna get into everything in just a minute. But I was telling Suki, and I think you guys heard with a boy from New York City. I got some great covers to show you guys from people who
I can't wait.
But
Serious?
I don't know if you want to, Cheryl.
You're gonna love it, Cheryl. It'll be like American Idol. You guys be the judges.
You are the judges.
What you think.
What if we don't like it?
It's okay. Say it. It's all right.
But I'm gonna give you. I want to give you a little taste of what it's like because we just heard you guys singing, So Much in Love, which is one of my it's a fantastic. I mean, that takes what was that 50s or 60s, right?
50s probably.
Got to be the 50s, right?
Early
Just
60s.
right.
And that, may I say, that video is old.
Yeah. No, I know. It's just
pandemic.
you guys look good in the studio. But I found two guys who basically covered that song as well. I'm going to play about 20 seconds of it, and then we'll get into the interview. But you just give me a little, tell me what you think of these two, because I looked all over, and these are my two favorites. Just take a look. Take a look.
As we stroll along together, holding hands, walking all alone, so in love are we two that we don't know what to do. So in love, in a world of our own.
Are you becoming a baritone in front of my eyes? It's terrible.
That's the problem. Number one, there's only two guys, and the one keeps trying to sing the backgrounds.
Yeah, well, that was me, Cheryl. That was me.
That was him with a hat on.
You're serious? Oh,
yes.
Okay. Chris,
Scott, I have to say what I like the attention to detail. Both with a black shirt, both with the white headphones, both with a black hat with white print. The attention to detail was excellent.
Thanks for paying attention.
A lot of twinning going on right there.
Wardrobe is the most important thing.
That is so funny. So funny. Well, guys, again, listen, thank you so much for coming on. We could be here for 3 hours going through the entire,
catalog.
careers. But listen, let's start with now. We'll work our way backwards. You guys are out celebrating 50 years. I know
Happy 50.
Yeah, you guys were just on Souk, your old stomping ground, Souk. You guys were just on with Rosanna, right? You guys were on Fox 5, earlier on. And so it's just it's back around. Does it feel like it's back to like the old days again, where it's just you guys are out, you're doing your thing, and all the attention and all the press and the interviews?
Well, I'll answer first. This industry has changed dramatically.
Yeah.
We actually used to do more TV, and then, no offense, this is fabulous. This is actually so much better. It's just not available out there anymore.
No.
And hit records, you drop something. Well, you drop a download. How can you do that anyway?
Yeah.
It's all in the ether world. So,
yeah.
It's very different, but we're going to go out and just kick ass and see what lands.
I love it. I love it. I mean, listen, you've got fans worldwide that have been waiting, and celebrating 50 for you is like, it's really a trip down memory lane. And I just want to take it back to that time of 1972, I guess, 1971, 72. I mean, when, rock and roll, New York City, like, I can't even imagine, was punk happening? Like, what was happening? Like an underground scene. And there you guys are doing a quartet. Now, who thought it was a great idea? Like, I mean, help us understand how you guys revolutionized it. And not only that, brought it to the mainstream again.
T, you want to chime in?
While neither of us were there for the very beginnings, we've heard about it enough. And really, as Scott had mentioned, it was Tim's vision, and his goal was to basically do what the group has done, which is pretty cool to look back and say, oh, back then, a crazy idea to think you were going to do, have harmony and celebrate harmony and all of these music styles and all these different things. So it's interesting to think it's 50 years old. And when they started, it was like a retro act, right?
Yeah.
So it is the 70s with more rock and more stuff coming in and changing, and then wanting to do a 40s throwback show, which everyone loved. And, from what I understand, right there around New York for 2 or 3 years, just packing out everywhere they went. Massive success, except no label would sign them. I would imagine, knowing the way that label people work, they would show up, love the show, think they're amazing, but be thinking to themselves, I have no idea how to sell this on a record. How do I do this? Till eventually Ahmet Ertegun was coerced somehow to see them, I believe in Philly. They got him a car to go. Someone made him go. Like, you have to hear them. And he got it. He signed them, and he was part of the vision that Tim had, from what I understand. He saw it, and so then they were able to do their thing. First thing, of course, is just record what they were doing, which was kind of a lot of the throwback retro style, vocal group style stuff. And just starting from there, and continuing to break down barriers every step of the way after that.
Yeah.
Tim used to say, great quotes from him, but he said, we don't want to be categorized or put in a compartmentalized with one style of music. He said, once you do that, you're disposable. So, we did Boy from New York City, then the record label, do another one like that. And we went, no, you got to really, really, I think, for me anyway, and for everybody, be true to yourself when you pick songs, and don't try and project, oh, that would be a hit. You can't do it that way. It's not,
Right.
It's not visceral. It's not. So that was Tim's,
Vision,
Tim's brainchild and his whole thing. And we've kept that. We've kept that idea going. We just pick music we love.
Yeah. And Cheryl, I wanted to ask, Boy from New York City was actually, you guys did a cover of Boy from New York City, which won a Grammy Award. So what, I'm always so interested, because you guys could sing anything and it's going to sound good. What was it about that song at that time that made you guys want to cover it? And what was it about the way you did it that now led to a Grammy Award?
Well, Scott, that was, what I just said. Forget all that, because this was a song that we all envisioned. We said, this is a hit.
Yeah.
The ad libs had the first version. And I was still kind of new in the group. And our producer, Jay Graydon, made a point of not copying the record, but, obviously updating it. And we didn't sound like that. We sounded like us.
Right.
So we're in the studio doing it. And I remember one thing that I added to it, which I was thrilled. Janice sings a lead on it. But we're starting to record. And I said, I think she should take it up higher to sound like a little, ooh, ah, to sound like a young girl. And they all went, oh. So from then on, I think she kind of curses me because she's still
Gosh darn it, Cheryl, I gotta go higher. Jeez.
And with those tunes, Tim and Al, I hear all the stories of Tim and Al. They were both big just doo-wop fans. So they were kind of able to mine, Tim's 45s and find these records that they loved that maybe weren't hits.
Right.
It was like they were hits to them, also like the tune Trickle Trickle that was recorded, also a cover, most of the things like that, Baby Come Back to Me. There's these doo-wop tunes that kind of were almost, it seems to me like they were hits to Al and Tim, but they're in the, they love doo-wop. So they wanted to get more exposure for those tunes. Because of course, instead of covering Earth Angel or Get a Job or Come Go With Me, like there's no need to re-record those. Everyone knows them. And so it's almost like their own, I'm kind of putting my own opinion to it. It's almost like their mission to get these songs they loved out while giving the group, cool material.
Yeah.
And what's so funny is that whole doo-wop genre. I think Manhattan Transfer was the first, that kind of I was introduced to as a child. I didn't really, even though I grew up on Staten Island, Brooklyn, and my dad didn't really, we're immigrants. We didn't really know what doo-wop was, but it like opened it up to another whole generation of people who didn't really know the American catalog, the American songbook catalog. And I thought that's what was so fantastic. Scott grew up with doo-wop. I did not, So
well, wait. That's okay. I was born in '66. So
come on. You guys are babies. You're babies. No,
I do love that stuff.
And I grew up in the Northwest, and was there doo-wop there? I don't think so.
I don't think so. It's a New York thing, right?
Huh? Yeah.
Was it a New York thing?
Oh yeah, totally, right?
Philly.
And the only
New York, Philly
group that got to me on that level were the Four Seasons. That's
Seasons.
The only thing I heard in the Northwest, right, Tris?
Yeah.
Nothing else made it up past north of Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved them. I had the 45s of Sherry, and I went, because it was all new sound to me.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
And isn't that Frankie
There's
Valley
Frankie.
right
There you go.
Right?
There's the man.
I'll tell you, just looking through,
look at an incredible photo.
Looking through all the photos of you guys today and all the video of you guys.
Amazing.
You guys really, and again, back and Trist, I don't know if it's as much when you came aboard, but in the 70s and 80s and in the 90s, you guys were hanging with some pretty serious celebrities, especially when you look at the history of the Grammys when you guys were on.
Yeah.
Here's you guys with Sammy Davis.
Oh.
You got Hugh Hefner. You guys are hanging out with Hugh Hefner, and the one thing I loved, which was fantastic. I just want to find it. The Grammys when you guys were collaborating with Ella Fitzgerald. I mean, look, it's unbelievable.
I know. I gotta say, that's probably all of us will answer our one of our favorite, if not our favorite, moments in this group. I mean, we were rehearsing. There's a rehearsal, and we got on stage. We came out and everyone stood up, and we knew it wasn't for us, and that was okay. And we sang the head of, in the rehearsal room, I'll make this short. We're singing and she scats in the middle. And then afterwards she goes, was that okay? We're like,
oh, yes.
You're Ella Fitzgerald. It was mind blowing. It was mind blowing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
They stood up after the song and just went wild, and we just backed out and let her take it. Those were what the Grammys used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Their interaction with so many people, Scott. I mean, I try to catch them. So when I'm with the other three, and if they're having some conversation, they may just by off chance, they're trying to tell a story, and they happen to mention that's the time that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was there.
Kareem, right?
and they try to keep telling the story, and I'm like, whoa, wait, back up. I need to hear more about. Wait a minute,
Kareem, what hell's going on?
They will do that. They'll just say, "Oh, remember that time that when Oscar Peterson and blah 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 went to," and you're like, wait. It's just a little part of the story to them, but I always try to back them up. Hey, fill me in. I wasn't there. I'm trying to get the live biography.
This is a Christmas show from Home Improvement.
From Home Improvement with Tim Allen.
Good picture of me there, I gotta say.
Yeah. What are you doing in the back, Cheryl?
Where are you? I see your hair.
I've never seen these pictures.
And listen, you know how big was the Manhattan Transfer back in the day?
Look at this.
When you got right when Alan's on Family Feud and
with
Tim's
Luther Vandross.
We all were. The girls were on the other.
You were on
side.
the other side. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah,
was that Luther Vandross?
Well, it was his thing.
Little Richard.
Little Richard, Bobby McFerrin.
Bobby McFerrin. I was trying to figure out who the next. Okay.
And on our team, it was Dionne Warwick, Vanessa Williams.
Wow.
Oh, Vanessa.
Vanessa Williams.
Yeah.
We love Vanessa.
And then Luther took us to his house for dinner. He loved this show.
Luther is my dream. Do you know that? He's like,
wait a minute.
Luther
I thought Keith Sweat was your
Keith
dream.
Sweat too. All of the R&B. You know it. But Luther is like, God, that velvet teddy bear. Oh, what was he like, Cheryl?
What?
What was he like?
The sweetest man you've ever met. You know, and then that voice of an angel, right? But he was just wonderful to all of us. Just love.
What a time.
I love
what a time.
It was funny because we had Richard Marx was on one of our shows back last summer. And he was telling us about Dance with My Father, about how he wrote that with Luther. And just what a sensational story. I think they got to do they were at the Grammys together, and then Luther passed away. But just a great, and then he sang it for us with his guitar, and it was just phenomenal. But and Trist, I understand, you know, you're also, tell me if I'm correct, you're also an engineer, an audio engineer, and you're working with guys like Take Six with Claude, who was also on this show, right?
Yeah, well, you know, the group actually does a show called The Summit, where it's the Transfer and Take Six together.
Right.
But yes, even before that, I did mix a tour for them in Brazil, which was amazing. And every once in a while, I'm a good friend of one of their main engineer, and every once in a while, when they're in a tight spot and need someone, as long as I'm free, I'll go do it because I sure love that thing. So I toured for about 3 years as the front of house engineer for a group called Straight No Chaser.
Yeah.
And also for group Pentatonics.
Pentatonics, yes.
Yeah. So for about a year, I was their front of house engineer as well. So I grew up with, for about 25 years, I was in a vocal group called Impact, a cappella group. I was the bass singer. I kind of helped found the group. And I was the only person that kind of knew something about the microphones. So I just dug into it. I never really had a class about it. I just always knew what I wanted us to sound like. So I slowly learned what all the buttons and knobs all meant. And
God bless
now,
you.
And then when we moved from Seattle to LA, it kind of helped fill in the income gap of not having enough shows to do and just finding other work. And then I just kind of did that a bunch until Cheryl called me and asked me if I wanted to fill in for the Manhattan Transfer once, and I about lost my mind.
Oh, yeah. And Tris, did you what say
Claude
that, Cheryl?
Claude was the guy I called. And I said, we need a bass. And he goes, well, it's Tris Curlis.
Yeah.
And I called Tris on the same moment, basically. And I said, we need some help here. We need
I was actually on tour with Straight No Chaser. At a summer tour, and coming up, they had like a residency at Atlantic City that I was committed to doing. And I gathered them all together after the show. I said, guys, I don't think I can do Atlantic City. And they were like, I could see them starting to grumble and be upset that I was bailing on them so close. I said, yeah, I got a call to sit in with the Manhattan Transfer. And instantly, they're just like, oh, yeah, you better go do that. That sounds great. You bet. We'll figure it out.
You might want to give that a whirl. And did you, Tris, did you already know the songs when they called?
Well, that's the thing. I'm just a big music fan and a big vocal music fan. So I knew a lot more than I think they anticipated.
Right.
When we were sitting down to just think of the songs to do, One of my memories was that, you know, the group has done a lot of stuff, like you said, the doo-wop things, lots of kind of poppy hits, lots of jazz. So generally, musically, the jazz things are more difficult. They take longer because closer harmonies and weirder parts, and it just takes a lot longer. Well, that's the stuff I was more into. So they're thinking from what's going to be simpler to have this guy learn really fast. They're thinking of all the easy songs, and I'm thinking of all the songs I love. So I'm mentioning, well, why don't we do this song? And they just would step back like, really? That song? That seemed like it would take forever. I was like, well, that's a song I like. So it was a little embarrassing. So a couple of the pop tunes, I was like, I'm sorry, I don't really think I even know what that song is. So
I have to like sing the praises of Trist because
go ahead, Cheryl.
He came in and literally, come on, Trist, his ears are so amazing. He could sing probably everything, you know, and parts here and there. We didn't care. We didn't hear it. Just an amazing bass singer. A couple times we surprised him. Alan said, we're going to do Morse Code of Love. We were just talking about that the other day.
Yeah,
we're
in Japan.
Yeah, Trist goes, how's that go? And he goes, Al goes, well, you start it. Did it? We'd never done it. Poor Trist.
And you guys, you know, you guys have been really like, you've sang your songs all over the world. I assume
there's got to be a favorite.
Yeah,
there's got to be a favorite.
How's the which is there a favorite to sing? Trist, like, what's your go-to a cappella song? What would be the one?
Wow, my go-to.
Is there a go-to? Song. Here you are. You're on a contest, $1 million. You got 15 seconds to do a cappella. Which one is it?
I mean, wow, that's tough. I don't know. That just me singing by myself. Because see, when I think of myself in an a cappella context, I'm with a group.
Yeah.
And I'm just going. There it is. There's my favorite song.
Nicely done, my friend.
That's funny.
Well, we're in the process of learning the a cappella. Well, it's not a cappella. We have a band, God Only Knows, for the second time. And that's, you know, it's not a cappella. The first time we did it was. But that would be my favorite go-to if we could ever do it.
Cheryl, let me hear a little bit of it. Let me hear a little God Only Knows.
I may not always love you, but as long as there are, hit it, Trist, stars above you. See, you can go up there.
You notice what they do, Cheryl? You notice in the intro of their show, they make sure we're watching and they see all the other people that actually sing for them. You notice how they trick you? They guilt you. They guilt you into singing for them.
By the way,
well, Richard Marx sang, well, Kenny Loggins sang, well, they show all these other people singing.
Williams.
Right, yeah.
Claude was very, very giving in his singing
I'm sure
as well.
he was. He's a giver.
Well, listen, I'm always prepared for the people who, like you, are a little stingy on the singing portion.
Ouch!
So I
come on, give Cheryl and Trist a break.
To be
come
fair,
on.
The group is 4 people.
4 people.
Listen, Cheryl, we're professionals and we come prepared. So here is a little bit of you guys doing Birdland.
Wow, that was recent.
So
yeah, that was just this summer.
Jacket that was so ugly that I've given it away already. That was recent, wasn't it?
That was a couple months ago. That was in Hartford. Huge jazz festival. Lots of folks.
We sounded
really warm out.
Yeah, sounded great. Birdland, 2 Grammys on that one. How many Grammys for Birdland?
Yes.
2, right?
Janice's arrangement. She did the vocal arrangement, and the song.
When you're coming up to do the album 50, now do you start out with like a whole host of songs and how do you dwindle it? I'm curious, how does it come down to the synthesis of containing all of that?
Trist, you want to start out?
You know, it's interesting. Every project has its own way about it. This is only the second time I was a part of that process. The first one being a little bit of a hodgepodge because we didn't necessarily have a singular focus.
Right.
If it's themed somehow, of course, you can have a lot more. It's a little easier to narrow down. When it's a little wide open, it takes a little longer. This project was really kind of a happy little accident, honestly. I don't personally feel like we were even on the road to thinking about an album. We were just focusing on the 50th coming up, quote unquote, soon, right? And at the top of 2020, we were in Germany and doing some live shows with the WDR Funkhouse Orchestra. Beginning of 2020, you know when that is. So it's literally January of that year, and so we're where this COVID thing is like about the 9th headline down on your website about what's going on in the world. So slowly, as that headline is moving up the column space in the headline, we're getting more conversation with the orchestra, like, "Hey, that went really great. We should record together." And honestly, this is brutally honest as I've been about this topic. We kind of lobbed back, well, all of those songs we did with them are on a great orchestra record that the group already made. So I think in our minds, their thought was, oh, let's record what we just did because it was so good. It'll be easy. It's good already. And then so we kind of, we're not really wanting to record an album. We're focused on the 50th.
Yeah.
And then so we're like, well, if you want to have all new arrangements done, which costs a lot of bread to get new orchestrations and all that stuff, kind of throw it back in their court with a lot of work and money, thinking, okay, we took care of that. Now we wouldn't have to worry about that. And then as the world is descending into closing down, and we're having Zoom meetings, we get, our manager Ed's like, oh yeah, they came back and said, that sounds great. Let's record. And we're like, on one hand, we're like, oh, we kind of
want to do this.
We kind of didn't want to do this, but now that we think about it, we're just sitting around.
Yeah,
it gives us something to focus on, and it was really a little bit of a blessing and a surprise.
Perfect timing. Yeah, and it was a surprise. And to pick songs for it was very interesting because we put a couple on that were on our last album on the Junction, but wanted to enhance them and make them all much prettier around the edges. But then we picked early ones. On a Little Street in Singapore, Twilight Tone, Agua from our Brazil album, one that we had not released, The Man I Love. It was the Artie Shaw version that we had done a long, long time ago, and it just sat there. And so we kind of dusted it off, got it up in the studio, and put Trist on in place of Tim, first of all, which was fabulous. You sound amazing, Trist. And it sounds like, you're part of the, the color now and the fabric of the sound. And then I do this solo, the Artie Shaw solo. This, I'm practicing at home and they go, well, just do it over, Cheryl. And I came in and I said, I'm never going to do it any better than what's on there. Or hit those notes as well. So we used the original solo too. So it was pretty easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah. So we did. We started out with like, well, what do you guys want to do? And it was like, well, let's start with the idea of, since we have a whole orchestra, there's all this tapestry that we can do differently. What if we do some of the songs that people have heard already, but maybe give them a different little twist and give these arrangers do some interesting creative things to it. So that's kind of was the genesis. And then as Cheryl said, hey, some of these songs we just did, they don't need that much of a refresh. They're brand new, but we had a little bit more, a lighter orchestral sound on them. And it would be nice to have a real orchestra to some of them. So that's why we added some of the more recent. So it was a nice collection of stuff throughout the history.
And you know what song?
Okay,
go ahead, Cheryl. Go ahead.
I was going to say Chanson d'amour we did. What else, Trist? God, I can't think of anything now.
On a Little Street in Singapore.
I said, yeah. So we did go back quite a ways and kind of
reimagined it. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it was
now,
great.
What I didn't realize you guys sang was, and I think it was the Twilight Zone. I'm here in the Twilight Zone, right? Because
Twilight
Zone, Twilight.
You had to change it for publishing.
Twilight.
Right. Yeah. Because every time I think now I'm stepping into the Twilight Zone, so I get those two confused.
It's tone
and Twilight Tone.
But it's the song,
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And Cheryl, one thing, just to step away from transfer for a second, what I noticed today was you actually voiced over a book about the life of Karen Carpenter, Little Girl Blue.
Yeah.
Right. You did the voice, you did the audio recording for that.
Yeah.
And I have to
it's never been mentioned in any interview in our lives. You know,
see that?
Thank you. It was quite I was home. Okay, long story short, I got cancer and I was off the road for almost 8 months, I think.
Okay.
On and off the road, right? So I was in LA doing chemo and I'm sitting there going, you know, I saw this ad come up on Facebook. I know the writer. I know the, Randy Schmidt, and they were looking for a voice. And I thought, I'll try it. I think my voice would lend itself with the, the round tone to her. Had I ever done that? Had I ever listened to an audiobook? No.
What was that like?
So I went in and did it. It was an amazing experience. It's not easy. I'll just say that. Because after a while, you forget how to say words.
Right.
And you have to stop, but I love doing it. So
and she's just, I mean, her voice is just, when she comes on the, when it's 70s on 7.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't care. I don't care what you think of me. I got a Karen Carpenter blasting on my radio. And I'm like, just like me, they long to be. I mean, some of those tunes just bring me back to when I was a kid. And just fantastic.
Wow. Her voice, what was it? She 34 when she died or something like that? 31.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Like it was like crazy young. I mean, just
crazy young.
A whole world to be lived. And, and she lived a whole world. But God, how talented and how tortured she was. How talented and tortured.
It was hard to read that book. Towards the end, I did get choked up a couple of times because you're reading, the story.
With her story, yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. Well, listen, the album is called 50, The Manhattan Transfer, celebrating 50 years of music. And get
I love the cover.
Right,
I love the cover.
Wherever music is downloaded. And as I played before, I put up before, let me just grab it.
Put it up.
You guys got the billboard working in Times Square.
Right.
I think we come on right behind you on that digital billboard next to Forever 21. And so it's great. You guys are really.
You guys have dates coming up in New York
you're rolling along. Yeah. Tell us what's coming up.
Well, we have chunks of this. It's we'll have a week of stuff. The 50th anniversary show, which unfortunately we're not doing in every city for the next year, but for the cities that get it, it's the with the Diva Big Band. So there's a big band element to the show with our normal quartet is playing, and Yaron Gershovsky, our piano player, who's been there forever. He's just as much a part of the group as anyone, I think. And so it's just going to be fun to celebrate this music. I love being a part of it. From my perspective, like I'm celebrating them as much as us. So it's interesting when I switch off between them and us. So that it'll be fun to take that all over. And yeah, New York, it will be here. We'll be at Town Hall next summer, I believe. In
Town
June.
Hall, beautiful. All right. Well, listen, as we promised, I have a couple cover songs to play for you.
Oh my God. I thought you already played it.
No, that was So Much in Love.
Oh, okay.
That was Phil and I.
Okay.
So I have 20 seconds of 3 different versions.
Okay.
There are a lot of them to sit through. But I have 20 seconds. I picked out. Well, you guys will tell me what you think. 20 seconds. It'll end. You let me know how you feel about it. All right.
I feel like Blake Shelton.
I'm gonna start you out.
Are you gonna hit the buzzer?
Yeah. I'm gonna start you out with the instrumental with the guy with the violin. Okay. So here's the violin. Tell me. Let me know what you think. Why? It's not bad, right?
Wow, that was crazy fun because it almost takes it to a country place,
like a honky tonk.
Right.
Yeah,
He's All right, here's the next one, which isn't which I think is creative, but I think that Cheryl just freeze on us.
Yeah, she'll come back. She
She'll be
froze
back.
before. She'll be back.
All right, Cheryl, you still there? Can you hear us?
We'll bring her back. Bring her back. Bring her back. Come back, Cheryl.
No. Cheryl just
She's
froze.
coming back. She's coming back. She's coming back.
I don't think she's coming back soon.
No, she is. Last time she froze and she came back.
She did.
That is true.
Cheryl.
Cheryl.
Cheryl. Cheryl. Where are you?
Cheryl, I'm going to take you out. And
Come
you
back
log,
in. Just
log
get the
back
log
in.
back
Here
in.
we go. Hold on. Let's get her. I can't play the songs if she's not here. All right, let's see. Trish, you're all by yourself now, my friend.
Just me.
And then there was Tris.
And then
I can tell you all the real story.
So, Tris, tell us the truth.
Yeah, what is it really like?
Tris, when you I was asking you before, when you join the group for good, do you have to like, all right, I gotta go study up on all these songs? Or you kind of just each time you do a concert, you just get more familiar with everything.
You know, it's the whole thing is just a learning experience on so many levels. Sociologically, psychologically, group dynamics. Like I said, I've been in singing groups all my life, so I understand some of the things, but you got to realize Cheryl is the last new person in the group before me.
Right, from 1970 to 1979.
So they do not have like a mode of operation that they do when a new person joins.
Right.
You know what I mean? They don't have their usual break in a new person routine. However, my group I had sung in, we had broken in new people all the time. Mm-hmm. So I almost knew more about how to do it than them. I'm like, hey, give me a list of this or tell me these things. So I could kind of guide them to, here's the stuff I need to know, you know, and I had to soon realize there wasn't always official, like, let's meet and decide the songs we're going to add. It could be, you know, during sound check, two of them might have a conversation. Oh, yeah, we should do that again. Yeah, that would be cool. And that might have been like my cue to learn it. Or maybe that was just a passing conversation and they'll never get to it again. I had to ask, like, wait, you guys were talking about this song. Mm-hmm. I could learn that. Do you really want to learn that? Oh, yeah, really. Let's do it the next, you know, the next month,
Cheryl,
there she is.
I ran out of juice.
You ran out of juice. You sound like me. My husband's like, how is it possible that your phone is not charged again?
I had a complete charge, but it's old. I got an old.
Cheryl, I waited for you to get back. Here's cover song number two.
Thank you. You ought to come and see how he walks, and how he talks. I dig this. Cute.
Creative points for the boxes and everybody doing their part.
They're from England for sure, right? Like, you know, you could just
solid COVID video.
Solid COVID. Yeah.
Everyone in their own place. Hey, let's do this song. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think that I saved the best for last. I think you guys are going to love this one. Okay. Tell me what you think of this lady. This is what we use no names on this program. Here we go.
You ought to come and see how he walks and how he talks. Yeah, he's really down.
It's a very Chrissy Hines-esque take on it, don't you think? It's very Chrissy Hines. Like, what?
Yeah, very 80s.
Very 80s.
That's my favorite by far.
Yeah.
You know, you pick a theme, you pick a vibe, and
there you go.
Live it.
I love it.
Very cool. These are fun. Oh my God.
Oh, listen, if you go on YouTube and put in your songs,
there are a lot of covers.
You'll see plenty of them.
Huge covers.
From kids to choruses.
When we travel around, like even around the world, vocal groups always, you know, they pop up and they come backstage and they sing our stuff. And it's really wonderful. It's really touching. So there are a lot of groups out there that kind of, you know, got their feet wet or their vocal cords wet on us, listening to us.
Yeah.
Well, I did. That's what I did. That's what I did. Both in high school and 2 different colleges did I sing tunes of theirs.
We didn't even have charts yet. So they were like picking them out, just picking them by ear.
Oh my God. Well, guys, listen, The album again is called 50 Manhattan. How do you pronounce the name at the bottom? Funkhaus Orchester? How do you
Very
say that?
typical German thing. Funkhaus Orchestra. We actually, when we pronounce it, we just say Funkhaus Orchestra.
Funkhaus Orchestra. That's what I thought.
That's what we say. Yeah, it's easier.
Orchestra. And if you say it with a German accent, it stands even better.
Funkhaus Orchestra.
Yeah, the WDR Association there, you know, the state-run, you know, they've got an amazing big band and a normal big classical orchestra.
Cool.
And this is the group that they have that does a lot of the pop and jazz things. But the whole WDR thing is amazing. There's a lot of amazing recordings with different people with them. Yeah. They're really into that.
Guys, listen, just an honor to have you. I'm sorry Janice and Alan couldn't be here.
Yep.
But it was great to have you guys. Continued
Congratulations.
Listen, just you'll come back on for the 75th anniversary.
Exactly.
And
Cheryl.
hopefully we'll all be up.
Obviously, you don't know how old I am.
Oh man. Thank you for having us. It's really fun. As everyone said, it's a really very fun show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it.
Enjoy it. And just, anything new comes up, you have carte blanche to come back on, of course.
Okay.
And of course, for
I'll
all your
my computer this time.
There you go.
And all the dates are on your website where people can find you all over the
Yes. ManhattanTransfer.net. ManhattanTransfer.net. All the dates are there. Come see the show.
Beautiful. Trish, Cheryl, thank you guys so much. Absolute honor.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Take care, guys. So great, Sue. Just fantastic.
Another band for the times. I mean, seriously, one of the greats. One of the greats.
What a Chris. Speaking of one of the greats.
Hey, Philly!
What's happening?
What's up, Philly kid?
Not too much. Just enjoying the show with everybody else.
Phil,
Philly,
listen.
I think I missed you crying every time. Scott was like, this girl was pulling at Phil's heartstrings. I've never seen anything like that.
Wow, she had the voice of an angel and
Jackie
Evanko. Jackie, yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yeah. She, and somebody made a comment on social media. They actually reposted me crying.
I saw that, Philly.
They reposted me on crying and said, somebody said, look at this veteran and his reaction to Jackie Evanko. I think that a lot of veterans.
Sums it all.
So yeah, she beautiful voice, like an angel, and yeah, I couldn't help it. Sorry.
No,
I'm a tough guy.
You're just the way we like you. Just the way we like you. We love it, Phil. We love it.
No, it's all good, Philly kid. Souk, another award-winning program.
I love it. Nice to see you guys. Now I got to go yell at my kids. Goodbye.
Go yell at your kids, and I'm not sure what's cooking tomorrow, but I'll see
Nothing's changed, Phil. I'm still yelling. Nothing's changed.
Souk,
might be over, but I'm still yelling.
I got you.
I'll see you on the Zoom machine at 1 p.m. tomorrow afternoon.
Love you, Bubs. Goodbye.
Bye, babe.
See you
soon. Bye, Philly. Thank you so much.
Love you too.
Bye.
Philly kid in the house.
Yes, sir. Hey, I don't know about where you live, but the seasons are kind of changing here, and I mean it's only what 7:50.
It's dark already, right?
Yeah, it feels like it's midnight here.
I know. It was here in the New York area. It was a beautiful day, just gorgeous day. And we have some friends and relatives down in Florida, and I'm like batting down those hatches, man. You guys are, getting clocked. And here it was just a beautiful, beautiful day. But
yeah, same here. But speaking of Florida, my prayers are out there for all the Floridians and anybody who's caught in that mess. But we are scheduled to go to Destin the middle of next month. So you
should be okay. You'll be fine.
As long as our vacation spot doesn't get wiped out. I don't know. Well, does anybody know what the weather's like in Destin right now?
It's not near Fort Myers, is it?
I don't think so.
Yeah, no, you just, you know what? You got to wait until like another 24 hours, see what happens, when everything clears out a little bit as it goes up a little, East Coast, right? Georgia and all those spots.
Yeah, and I've been watching some videos. I mean, that thing has been spawning like tornadoes and
it's insane.
90-mile-per-hour winds, just crazy.
Insane, Philly kid. Listen, Phil, you've seen this, right? The little billboard up in Times Square.
Yeah. What's the story on that?
Well, it's listen, it's Billboard, and we're right there in the middle of Times Square and Broadway.
Nice.
And I think it comes up like once, like 4 or 5 times an hour. And one of our PR representatives, actually, at Bullion Entertainment, our friend Sandra Trim-DaCosta, she who got us Manhattan transfer.
Right.
She said she had a surprise for us, and next thing I know, we're on a billboard in Times Square, and that's where we are, and that's where we're going to stay. Phil, we're staying on the billboard until somebody picks up the show.
Yeah,
How
I
about
mean,
that?
you should. I mean, the Suki and Scott show is the worldwide phenomenon that it is. You know, it's just everybody loves it, and it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. You know, 7-time Emmy award-winning host Suki and Scott, and you work hard at it, so things are gonna happen.
Remember, Phil, we used to be like, yeah, we're here on Facebook Live, we're on Zoom, and now we're we're all over the place. I don't even know where. Oh, that's not even updated, Philly kid. We're on Google Play now. It's insane. I mean, we're basically all over the place.
Well, you can't make a sign big enough for all the outlets of the Suki and Scott show.
We need a bigger. And Phil, I was really just a kid with a dream. That's all I was. I was just a small child with a few Playboy bunnies, just dreaming about our show. That's all it was. But
Yes.
listen, so I have you doing. You know, I played for them before our version. Couple seconds of us doing "So in Love Are We Do," but I have the solo version of you singing that song, which I thought was much better than me ruining it for you. So I have that version, which I think is a premiere song for you this evening.
It is.
So you tell me, do you want me to play it first, or do you want me to play it to end the show?
Let's play it to end the show, because I'm not going to do much singing, because I told you earlier when I talked to you on the phone that I have a pretty big audition.
Oh, that's right. You got an audition tonight. You got to bang out, right?
So yeah, so I need to memorize some lines. It's a pretty big audition, and I'm trying to save my voice, because it's kind of a serious part, and I need the serious business-like voice for my audition. So I'm going to try to save the voice a little bit tonight.
All right, yeah. So don't say. Well, do you want it? So do you want to sing anything? You want me to just play that?
Yeah. Why don't we just go ahead and end the show out with that?
All right. So, all right. Well, if we're going to do that, then I know you've been doing a lot of audition stuff lately.
Yes.
I see you putting stuff up online now. Or is this coming from like your agent? Is it coming from like casting calls? Where, is it stuff that they're like, hey, we like this guy, we want to hear him read for this? Like, how does it work?
Yeah, right now I don't have an agent right now, because I parted ways with my old agent. So now I'm kind of doing it myself, and actually I'm having some pretty good luck. I'm on different casting websites, and
right,
I see these parts come out just basically all over the world, and I submit. Some of them hit, and they want to see me. They want to see how I can do for the project. So
right.
Yeah.
And when you see the ones that say young 19-year-old Mexican boy looking for, you go right in on those, right?
I submit for everything.
You never know.
Right. And when I yeah, you don't know, because they might be looking for 19-year-old Antonio Banderas, and you send it in and go, hey, wait a minute, look at this guy. We're going to change our whole
right
movie around just to fit this guy's face.
You never know, man.
Stranger things have happened in
Hollywood. Didn't you change like one of your social media handles? I think you have like Felipe in there. Did you put Felipe in there?
Yes.
That's like, I was thinking of doing that myself, but I can't. I was going to change mine to Juan Miguel, just so I could identify as non-white.
Yeah. Well, that was one of my nicknames growing up, with my Mexican family and some of my buddies. But yeah, hey man, play it up. Whatever you have, play it up. I say.
Oh, absolutely, man. I send in headshots from when I'm 19 years old. For God's sake, full head of hair. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, but, you never know.
I send in headshots that look like this, and you never know what they're looking for. But all right. Well, listen. So the Manhattan Transfer, they did. Let me just play it real quick. We played it for them on their way in. So they did a studio version because they do a lot of covers, and they won Grammys with cover songs, for God's sakes.
Yes, they're awesome. They're awesome.
So in Love, right? So Much in Love is the name of the song. So Much in Love. Here's a little bit of how they did it, right? Here we go.
So in love are we two that we don't know what to do. So in love in the world of our own. You and I, as we stroll by the sea together.
So that's them. Right? Here's You and I, 20 seconds of You and I, me ruining your solo here. And Suki's like, when did you become a baritone? So here.
Well, sometimes you're a baritone and sometimes you're a tenor.
Listen.
Just seconds later.
Yeah, seconds. Listen, I'm very versatile. Hold on. Here's
as we stroll along together, holding hands, walking all alone. So in love are we two that we don't know what to do. So in love, in a world of our own.
I don't think that was that bad. No, it wasn't too bad.
Hey, if nothing else, we're a couple of sexy guys, man.
We're so in love. And then so I said, Philly, your solo version it just sounds really good. So that's how I want to end the show, and that's what we'll do. I'm not sure what we're doing tomorrow night. If we may be on, we may be not on. We've got some really good guests coming up next week. Dane Cook is coming on, the comedian. He's got a new special out. Yeah, I've been writing Dane Cook for about a year. And he has this special out now that he shot. I think it's on Netflix or maybe on another site, but he's a great comedian.
Yes.
Shot it right in his backyard, I think. And Brandy Roderick is coming on. Model. She was on from Baywatch. She's a producer. She's got a movie coming out. So we got some good shows coming up. But anyway, I'm going to leave you guys because I know everybody wants to hear Phil sing. So Much in Love, Philly Kid, premiere. Here it is. And then we'll put it up on the site. Philly Kid, I love you. Good luck with the audition. And here you go, everybody. Philly Kid, So Much in Love.
As we stroll along together, holding hands, walking all alone. So in love are we two that we don't know what to do. So in love, in a world of our own, as we stroll by the sea together, under stars twinkling high above. So in love are we two, no one else but me and you. So in love, so much in love, so in love, so much in love. We stroll along together. I tell you I need you oh so much. I love you, my darling. Can you tell it in my touch? When we walk down the aisle together, we will vow to be together till we die. So much love have we two, just can't wait to say I do. So in love.